Finally ready for us to taste test this wonderful.
Everything is ready.
Everything's ready. So what are we making though over here?
Okay, so here's the cool honey jalapeno cornbread. So I've got my liquid ingredients in this bowl. We've got milk, 1 egg, 2 egg yolks, a little bit of olive oil, and some honey.
Okay.
And then we have our dry ingredients, which is flour, cornmeal, salt, pepper, and a little bit of baking powder. And then what I've done here is I've sauteed some corn, onions, garlic, and fresh jalapenos. And then we're going to put that over here. That'll kind of boost the cornbread up. One secret though is you want to always put, anytime you're putting any solid ingredients into a cake or cornbread, you want to put it in with the dry ingredients and stir it around. And what that does is that will help the ingredients stay suspended in the cake and it won't all fall to the bottom.
Okay.
You see, because the flour coats, you can see it's starting to coat some of the solid ingredients there.
Okay.
That's a big one. That's important. I've had this experience of things settling.
They will,
Yeah.
and if you put a little bit of the dry on them, you'll stop that. Now, same thing with cakes, like if you're doing a chocolate chip cake or something like that, it's the same theory, right? Now, one thing you can do, this is just kind of a base recipe for cornbread. You can take the savory things out. You can actually make a sweet cornbread with blueberries. Corn and blueberries go really well together. So that's something you can do. You can also substitute the olive oil with bacon fat and a little sour cream and green onions if you want to get a little down home, you know?
Down home, I like it. Speaking of, I'm going to try this.
I'm going to go for the chili first. Well, chili and cornbread are just the perfect complements.
It's a great compliment. And then when you're stirring this, you just barely want to bring it together and then it's ready to go.
That is perfect. Did you drizzle some honey on top of that?
I did. I put a little bit of honey on top just to give it that extra little something.
This is really good.
Thank you. And you can see it cooks just in about 25 to 30 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, man, this is. Yeah. I mean, sometimes we have something already cooking in the oven, and then we sample that. But this we made this just now since the start of the show. This is fantastic.
That's right. And you know, one thing I would recommend, if you're going to do this exact meal, I would go ahead and get the get the chili going. And then while that's cooking, you can make your cornbread and have it baked, and it's fresh out of the oven while the chili's done, and it just comes together at the perfect time.
Now, on the cornbread, how much trial and error was involved in the way you've added various things to it?
Well, it's, you know, once you get, a recipe is basically just a ratio. So if you get the ratio correct of dry to wet, then you can kind of play with it and see. I did have to do a couple before I figured out the flour technique where everything just kind of fell to the bottom. But it's really a blank palette, and you can kind of create with it what you want. You know, once you learn the basic recipe of the cornbread, then it's kind of open to whatever you want to do.
I like that analogy.
He has
Blank
perfected
palette,
this chili. It's the perfect amount of spice. It's not too spicy, but you got that little hint. It's almost, it's funny because it's warm today, but this would be perfect on a cooler day.
We'll have some more of those before
We've been lucky
February's
so
over.
far, so I think
have
we're
them
going to get
done.
nailed here pretty soon. We're about due.
Thank you for the much needed vegetables.
You're welcome. Yeah, after yesterday's indulgence of everything, right?
Now, did you want to talk a little bit about your products here? I know.
Yeah, well, this is one thing here. We've got the Hartwell's Premium Fire Roasted Chili Ranch. This might be a great topper for the chili. It add a little bit of creaminess and spice to it as well. Now, you can find this in all area Kroger stores in the produce section, and then you can find it at Needler's Markets as well. And then we have our other ranch that was rated Best in America, sold in grocery stores as well. That's at Kroger also.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Now, these vegetables seemed very high quality. Do you have a favorite place you go to get your produce?
You know what? Everyone has a local market, so I think you can find what you want there. I'm just not doing any plugs, but I just went to Kroger. So.
Okay. All right.
And on that note, we encourage you to stick around and check out America's Steals and Deals.